Hey guys, welcome back to Critic and Fan, and today we are reviewing the movie Star Wars The Last Jedi. It was a movie that I was really looking forward to. I was really excited for this movie. And before we dive into my thoughts on this film, Rob, this is the movie that came after The Force Awakens. What happened? What do you think about it?
It was a little bit underwhelming.
I would have to agree. This movie, keep talking, Rob, because I got to process how much I was very underwhelmed in this movie.
Okay, this movie is enjoyable. There's great characters. You have fun with most of them. But at the same time, it doesn't deliver a lot of little things. Like, it's not anything big. It's just a lot of little things that add up after a while.
Yeah, it's a movie where, with The Force Awakens, they promise you a lot of things. They're like, oh yeah, you know what? We got no Snoke. We're going to give you more Snoke. We got no Phasma. We're going to give you more Phasma. You know, Luke Skywalker at the end. We're going to give you more of him. We're going to learn more about Rey's parents. We're going to learn more. And they give you like 19 other different things to look forward to. And so this movie, they answer maybe like 2 out of like 10 questions you may have. And the questions that they answer are like brushed off. Like, oh yeah, it's this. And you're like, they just handle the answers just like, oh yeah, it's just this. You're like, but there's no build up to it. There's nothing. It's not, the answers are not dramatic. You know what I'm saying? It's just like they just mention it. You're like, oh, that's okay. I guess that's what happened. Okay, that's cool. I guess. And the questions you still have lingering, they don't address different things. It's just it's not a mess. It's just they didn't deliver on a lot of promises that they gave me, and that was just frustrating. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna wait for this, and it didn't happen. And there's a certain character, like Captain Phasma. Like, literally, she shows up at, like, the end of the movie, and I forgot she existed. Like, I literally forgot that Captain Phasma was in this movie, because, like, an hour and a half later, she comes up, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot I was supposed to want more of you, and I got, like, you know, maybe 10 minutes of her, I guess. There's so much I'm disappointed about. But, Rob, keep talking more. I gotta process this.
Okay.
God.
This movie, visually, was amazing.
Yes.
There was a lot of beautiful scenes with ships. Some fight scenes just look amazing. They do wide shots for fight scenes, so you see more of the action. You can tell it's them doing it. It looks great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the action scenes a lot. Like I said before, I liked like when they would fight, they would have a lot of wide shots. So you got to see the actual people do the choreography. That was always neat to watch. The space battle was pretty cool. The acting's amazing. Like what you want technically in a Star Wars film, CGI and everything like that. That's perfection.
Yeah, what critics judge is good.
Yeah, what's not so great is just the choices that they make for a lot of the things in the movie. There's a lot of good surprises, I would admit. You know, because there was good surprises for me that I clapped maybe like 2 or 3 times. Like, yeah, that's a great moment. Hurrah, whatever, huzzah. You know. Who says huzzah anymore? Anyway, maybe for British or whatever.
He does.
But so there was a lot of good things that happened in this movie that I mentioned. Like, for instance, like Luke Skywalker. I loved seeing him on screen. I really enjoyed his character. I loved the moments with Leia. I loved Luke's dynamic with Rey on the island, and I really liked also Rey and Kylo Ren's dynamic.
Yeah.
When they
have great chemistry.
They have great chemistry together too. And so there's just, you know, there's story beats that you enjoy in the movie, but there's just a bunch of things that take you out of the movie as well that really make the movie kind of lukewarm. Like, it's not a super hot, great movie, and it's not a super cold, dour movie. It's just like in the middle where there's just enough good and enough bad to make you go like, it's like it's okay, it's fine, it's watchable. But I wanted more than watchable. I wanted to like come out of this movie and tell all my friends, like, guys, watch this movie now. This is the movie that's going to change cinema forever. It's not this movie. But they do a bunch of things that I enjoyed. So, like, let's dive a little bit more into like the things we didn't like. So, were there any characters, like any specific beats, without spoilers or something like that? But
the Finn character, while I enjoy him on screen, he was hilarious, and I thought he did very well. They don't develop him at all, and at times you're like, okay, let's move on from you now.
Which is pretty weird because this is like hours after The Force Awakens, right? Or I don't know if it's hours. Is it hours?
It picks up right where it leaves off.
Yeah, and it's the weirdest is because Finn gets his back sliced up from the first movie, and then he's totally fine in this movie. So I'm like, how are you running across the galaxy when he had it sliced up? He's in a BAFTA tank and stuff like that. He's all getting medical treatment. But I'm like, I don't know if any advanced space technology can actually heal you that fast.
I was okay with it.
Whatever. But the one gripe that I really did have was the Rose character. She started off really fine, and as the movie kept going, like by the end of the movie,
You just like her less and less.
you start liking her less and less and less, and then she does something with Finn that came totally out of left field that was not necessary, and I was just like, why is this happening? Whatever. I remember when it actually happened, the person next to me was like, boo, like he like suddenly was just like, boo, and then I was just like,
Yeah, it's a little weird, but I got past it.
yeah, like the chemistry they have together is fine. It's just they go on a mission together on this planet, and it's just a thing that just didn't need to happen. It kind of dragged the movie down a little bit. Didn't need to happen, but that was one big gripe about it. But the main gripe for me was just they didn't deliver on promises, and they make certain decisions where you're like, oh, I wanted more of that. You just cut it off like really quick. I wanted more. And so that's really where the disappointment comes from, is that there was just so much potential here. But that's the thing, is that this movie is the most original Star Wars movie that we've seen in a long time.
They do a lot of different things that with the Force and other little things that are great. They took a chance, and you gotta respect them from that. But at the same time, they didn't stick the landing.
Yeah, and so when the movie wrapped up, I mean,
I was ready for it to end.
Yeah, honestly, because the movie's like, what, 2.5 hours long? And
you feel it, too.
You did feel it. And I think it would have been better if they would just cut off some of Rick and, Finn and, Rose. See, she's forgettable, I almost forgot her name. But yeah, it's just, if it would have been a little bit shorter, it would have been better. If they would just deliver on some promises that they were to give us, that would have been way better, too. But it's really tough it's really tough to talk about this movie without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
So, in a nutshell, I'll say this. There's a lot of stuff that you'll be happy with.
Great characters, great visuals.
And so depending on it's really depending on how much of a Star Wars fan you are. So if you're a super hardcore fan, there's going to be some things that might take you out of the movie. Like for instance, without spoilers, Princess Leia, what did she do that, not do, but like just describe a little bit.
What she does is like, wow, that's kind of cool, but at the same time you're like, wow, they did that?
Yeah, like, we can't say exactly what it is, but once you see it, you're going to be like, okay, that's what they're talking about. It's just random what she did. It was meant to be a really awesome moment, and you're like, but it just looks cheesy. To me, it looks cheesy. I don't know. But that's just one example. But there's enough awesome moments, like the battles, the acting. There's enough good stuff to where you're like, yeah, this is a Star Wars feeling movie. But then there's just a bunch of other stuff where you're like, it just takes you out of the movie. So that's why it's hard to rate what on the ranking system where this is, like for me personally, I love A New Hope first, then Empire Strikes Back, and then for me, well, first off, say what your list is.
Okay, Empire Strikes Back, New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Rogue One, then this one's tied with The Force Awakens for me.
Tie for you. See, for me,
and then the prequels at the bottom.
Yeah, prequels on the very bottom. Yeah, like for me, obviously, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then like Return of the Jedi, I guess it's still better than Force Awakens, like as an overall thing, because the thing about the Force Awakens was that it's just too similar to Episode 4, which is what knocks a few points off of it. So putting that into regard, I'm like you, where like I don't really know if The Last Jedi is better than the Force Awakens because of that mishap, or I don't know. It's just hard. I was very underwhelmed with this movie, but I'm still interested enough
to see the next
to watch the next one. Like, it's not a total misfire because there's enough to enjoy,
Yes.
And so that's our quick non-spoiler review of this movie. If you ever see us in person, we would definitely let you know what we thought in person, because we have so much we want. I could literally talk about this movie for like 2 hours, just like of how much I was so disappointed. Because honestly, this
is our second take. The first take was like a half hour.
Yeah, this is our second video, because our first review was like 19 minutes or whatever. So we're trying to shorten it down to under 10. But still, guys, like, the more I think about this movie, the more
angry he gets.
The more angry and upset that I get. But like, at the same time, there's a bunch of other good stuff too. It's just frustrating.
It's still enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. Like, if watch it in theaters, you will have a good time. I would just say keep your hype in check. If you're a crazy Star Wars fan. If you're not a Star Wars fan and you're just a casual watcher, you'll enjoy it. You'll be fine. But for someone like me who's watched it, growing up as a kid, I don't know. For Star Wars lore, it's fine. I just hope that they improve on the next one. And anyway, guys, that's our quick thoughts on this movie. Rob, where can they find us?
You can like us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter at critic_and_fan.
Awesome, guys. Let us know what you thought about the movie when you see it. No spoilers, though. Don't spoil it, for people in the comments. Yeah, but just comment below. Let us know what you guys think, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.